I can't tell you how many times I've heard someone walk up to me with fire in their eyes and say, "Jim, I've got big dreams." And every time I smile because dreams are beautiful. Dreams are the starting point. Dreams are the spark. But then I listen for the next word because the next word reveals everything. And most people don't even notice themselves saying it. They don't see the danger inside it. They don't hear the trap hidden behind that single soft syllable. They say, someday, someday he'll start, someday he'll change, someday he'll build it, someday he'll take action. And right there, the dream flatlines. Because someday is not a day on the calendar. It is a graveyard. It is the quiet assassin of ambition. It is the thief that steals dreams while you sleep. Listen carefully. Dreams don't die because you lack inspiration. They die because you lack deadlines. Someday is a fantasy. That is the difference between living a life you imagine and living a life you regret. People love to complicate success. They want magic. They want secrets. They want shortcuts. But success is not complicated. Success is disciplined. And the dividing line between dreamers and doers is shockingly small. A date. You can dream all day. You can dream with passion. You can dream with tears in your eyes and purpose in your heart. But until you tie that dream to a date, it is nothing but a balloon drifting in the wind. A dream without a deadline is decoration. A dream with a deadline is a destination. Doers don't say, I wish. They say, I decide. They don't say, someday. They say, by this day. People don't drift because they're lazy. People drift because they're unclear. When your dream has no timeline, your life has no urgency, your days lose structure, your hours lose purpose, your years disappear. 5 years go by, then 10, then 20, and one day, you wake up and whisper the saddest phrase a human being can speak. I thought I would have been further by now. Drifting is easy. Direction requires decision, and decision begins the moment you circle a date. Hope is wonderful for the soul. Hope lifts the spirit. Hope keeps you warm at night. But hope is terrible for achievement. Hope says, it might happen. A deadline says, it will happen. Hope waits for the moment. A deadline builds the moment. Hope is emotional. A deadline is structural. You cannot build a future on softness. You build it on structure. Clarity is one of the highest forms of human strength, and nothing creates clarity like a deadline. When you choose a date, suddenly the fog lifts. You stop guessing. You stop wandering. You stop kind of trying. You know exactly what to do. When the timeline is clear, the path becomes clear. When the path becomes clear, your behavior becomes clear. And when your behavior becomes clear, your life becomes powerful. Clarity creates confidence, and deadlines create clarity. Motivation is wonderful. Motivation is exciting. Motivation makes you want to run through walls. But motivation fades. You can be fired up on Monday and defeated by Wednesday. But a deadline does not fade. A deadline doesn't care about your feelings. A deadline doesn't need permission. A deadline demands movement. The moment you set a date, motivation stops being a mood and becomes a mandate. You stop waiting for inspiration. You start working with intention. Motivation makes you feel like it. A deadline makes you do it. Most people try to avoid pressure. They treat pressure like an enemy. But pressure is one of life's greatest gifts. Pressure wakes you up earlier. Pressure sharpens your focus. Pressure exposes your excuses. Pressure raises your standards. Diamonds don't appear without pressure, and neither does your potential. A deadline creates good pressure, the kind that pushes you beyond what you believed you could do. When the date is set, your energy changes. Your habits change. Your decisions change. Because now, the clock is ticking. And the clock is the greatest coach you will ever have. Let me take you back in time. I was 25, broke, behind, frustrated, too smart to be struggling, too talented to be failing, too capable to be living small. But I had one problem. Everything I wanted lived in someday. Someday it'd save money. Someday it'd improve my life. Someday it'd get serious. Then I met Mr. Schoaf. He looked me in the eyes and said, Jim, the future will not change until you change. And the way you change is to pick a date. That night, I wrote down the first real goal of my life. Save $5,000 by the end of the year. And from that moment, every dollar mattered. Every decision started to count. Every day carried purpose. The date gave direction. The deadline gave discipline. And the discipline gave me a new life. Time is tricky. To the casual person, a year feels long. To the intentional person, a year is 365 opportunities. Without deadlines, time slips through your fingers. You don't notice the days. You don't feel progress. You don't move forward. But when you set a deadline, time becomes structured, solid, measurable. Time becomes a container you can fill with effort and results. Time respects order. Time respects direction. Time respects intention. And deadlines turn time into your teammate. If you told a farmer, someday I'll plant my crop, he would laugh. The soil doesn't wait. The season doesn't wait. Nature doesn't wait. There is a window. And if you miss it, you miss the harvest. The earth demands deadlines. Life does too. You can't plant when you feel inspired. The soil doesn't care about your inspiration. It cares about your timing. Deadlines in nature are not optional. They are laws. Discipline builds nations, businesses, bodies, and legacies. But discipline without a deadline is unfocused energy. When you have a deadline, discipline becomes targeted. It suddenly has something to aim at. Every habit gets filtered. Every choice gets weighed. Without a deadline, you fall into convenience. With a deadline, you rise into commitment. The future rewards the disciplined you, and the disciplined you shows up when the date is clear. Transformation does not begin with big goals. It begins with small deadlines. A book finished in 2 weeks. A letter written tonight. $100 saved in 30 days. 10 minutes of exercise every morning. Small deadlines build the muscle of discipline. Small discipline builds self-trust. Self-trust builds a powerful life. If you can't honor a small deadline, you won't honor a big one. But when you master the small, you become unstoppable in the big. Money is simple. Money follows direction. When do you want your debts cleared? When do you want your first $100,000? When do you want your first million? People who say, someday lose their money. People who say, by December or by next summer, are the ones who build wealth. A deadline turns spending into strategy, earning into intention, and income into assets. Money respects the person who respects the calendar. Most people ignore their health until the doctor gives them a deadline. Change your habits, or else. And suddenly, everything becomes urgent. But why wait? By June 1st, I will lose 10 pounds. By my next birthday, I will walk 2 miles a day. By next month, I will fix my sleep schedule. Your body responds to dates, not desires. It is easy to say, someday, I'll fix things with my brother. Or, someday, I'll spend more time with my kids. But while you wait, years disappear. Children grow. Opportunities fade. Set a deadline for love. By Saturday, I will make that call. This week, I will take my daughter to lunch. Tonight, I will apologize. Love grows when love is scheduled. A leader is not the person with the most passion. A leader is the person with the clearest timeline. If you lead a family, set deadlines. If you lead a team, set deadlines. If you lead a business, set deadlines. People perform better with clarity. Clarity creates confidence. Confidence creates momentum. Momentum creates results. And nothing creates clarity faster than a deadline. People fear deadlines because they fear pressure. But pressure is a teacher. Pressure is a sculptor. Pressure is a builder. Deadlines stretch you. challenge you, and reveal abilities you never knew you had. Deadlines don't shrink your life. They stretch your capacity. The version of you that emerges after a deadline is sharper, stronger, more focused, and more disciplined. People who live with deadlines become people others admire. 5 years will pass, whether you take action or not. The question is, when those 5 years pass, will you feel pride or regret? Will you say, "Look what I built," or will you say, "I wish I had started back then"? Someday is a thief. By this day is a builder. So choose today. Choose the date. Circle it. Write it. Declare it. Protect it. Move toward it with everything you have. Because the moment you tie your dream to time, everything shifts. Your energy rises. Your mind sharpens. Your courage awakens. Your discipline strengthens. Your world rearranges itself around your intentions. You stop drifting and start driving. You stop wishing and start working. You stop talking and start transforming. Dreams without deadlines drift. Dreams with deadlines drive. And a driven life is a fulfilled life. Pick the date. Start the clock. Now, before you leave this video, do something powerful. Type 8 inches the comments. Why the number 8? Because in many cultures, the number 8 represents new beginnings, momentum, breakthrough, and the courage to step into a higher level of your life. It is the number of forward movement, the number of commitment, the number of destiny. When you type 8, you are declaring publicly, "I am setting the date. I am starting the clock. I am taking control of my future." Type 8 below, and let today be the day you draw a line in the sand and step into the life you were meant to build.